Welcome back to the Horse Racing Show. Delighted to have with us a good friend and one of the greatest jockeys of all time, and he's still going. Mike Smith, the Triple Crown winner aboard Justify, joins us now from his home in California. Mike, it's good to catch up with you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Getting really good. Thank you.
People still talking to you about Justify?
Oh yeah, no, that's something that never gets old, boy. That's one of those life changing things there, man. It gets better the more each day that passes, it even gets better.
You know, I was on a show, a radio show, and someone was asking me about Tom Brady and how would this be if he won the Super Bowl. Of course, this was before the game. And he said, 41, ain't this amazing? Wow, look what he's doing. I said, I know another guy that's doing some pretty good stuff, and he's like 53 now, and he's still one of the top jockeys in the world, and that's Mike Smith. So you're amazing that you stay in the shape you're in. I would guess you're almost as good as you were at 30, Mike. I mean, to look at you, you look in incredible shape.
If I did anything right, Kenny, that was, I took up physical fitness at a very young age and just, made it a way of life, and I've really stuck with it. So it's really paying off now, in my later years of my career.
Has there been a moment where you thought, well, I don't know, I'm a little sore today. I don't know, I've got a little bit of a pain today? It doesn't seem that way.
Yeah, there's plenty of those moments. You just gotta just fight through them and just get through it. And once you start the workout, you start releasing those natural endorphins, and then you start feeling good, and then you pull your way through it, and then everything's fine after that.
Are you still running the San Gabriel Mountains? And for those that have not seen Santa Anita in person, the San Gabriel Mountains are a beautiful backdrop to one of the prettiest tracks around Santa Anita, where Mike rides a lot now. And I know you used to run the mountains up there. I got tired of hearing you running the mountains. That's how strenuous this is.
I don't run them as much, but I still hike it quite a bit. Just a good speed walk, probably about 1.5 miles up, sometimes 2 miles up, and then come on down. And I just use it for, my cardio. Whenever I'm doing a lot of cardio, I'll use the mountain for that. It keeps that air in you. I tell you that.
Well, and hiking those mountains are a little different than a friendly hike around the park, by the way, if anybody hasn't seen it. It's a little steep, Mike, that 1.5 miles.
I tell you what, it really is. It's a good hike, man. It's a great workout. Once you get fitting up where you can actually, jog at a slow pace, you're pretty fit.
What's the most important thing if there was like one or two body parts that a jockey really has to stay in shape, or is the most vulnerable if they start getting weak or getting hurt? Is there a couple of things, particularly about riding a horse, that you really have to have in great shape to continue to do it at your level?
Legs, of course, are key in anything. You got to keep the legs strong, but with back as well. I got hurt in 1998. Kenny, I broke my back pretty bad. I crushed 2 vertebrae up at Saratoga in 1998. So I really got to work on my back and keep it strong. And as long as I do that, it's like I said, I still feel every bit as good right now at 53 as when I was 30 years old. I mean, I'm doing really good, and so far I'm able to keep that up. Good Lord's willing, we'll stay healthy as long as I don't get hurt again. I think I got another good 5 years left in me.
Oh, at least. You'll probably get, and I said this on the show last week, you had a shot at beating Shoemaker's record among the many records you already own or closing in on as the oldest jockey to win a Derby. He's 54 when Ferdinand won it in 86.
Was he 54? Wow, well, I got a chance then. I got a chance because I honestly, I'm so blessed to be course riding, for the right people and right kind of horses, and staying in really, really good shape, and I feel wonderful. I started out this year probably as good, if not better, than I've ever started out, to be honest with you. We're on a roll right now. I just got to keep it going.
As far as back in your young days of racing, was there anyone that you looked up to that said, stay in shape, stay focused, whatever advice that young athletes get from the veteran athletes at that time that has inspired you or kept you going?
I was blessed to come around an era, where the older riders that were, a few years older than me were just tremendous, man. I mean, in the Midwest, Pat Day was a big mentor to me early on in my career, and then I became great friends with with all the great riders, and I used to talk to Lafitte, even though I was on the West Coast. I talked to Lafitte a lot of times about fitness and health, and he really, he's the one that really, when if you ever gotten a chance to see what kind of shape Lafitte's in, he's 72 years old right now. I think he just did 10 one-legged squats last time I saw him. We were at my wedding. He could do them like they were nothing. I mean, he's just an incredible athlete. He stays in such great shape, and I kind of really looked up to him as well, and that's what kind of got me into working out at a young age. And again, I was, like I said, I was blessed to come around so many great riders. Cordero, getting a chance to talk to him, Bailey, Stevens, and Eddie D. I mean, when you have guys like that mentoring you, you can't go wrong.
You mentioned the 98. I remember that spill well when you had the broken back. Probably had you not been in the shape you were even then, you've always been in great shape. As far as the recovery process, I imagine not just a major injury like that, but little aches and pains and a few cracks here and there is probably the shape you're in keeps you going to heal quicker. I'm just taking a shot there.
No, that's exactly what the doctor said too. That if I wasn't in the shape that I was in, I was in really, really good shape when that happened. That they don't know what could have happened. It could have been a whole lot worse. And staying in that kind of shape, I was able to come back, which was probably a little bit too quick when I came back. But they said I'd be off about a year and 4 months, and I made it back. And I think it was just under 7 months, and I was already back in the saddle riding. So, it certainly helps to stay in that kind of shape because when you do get hurt, I mean, and that's going to happen in this sport, you're able to come back a whole lot quicker.
I was talking earlier, Mike, talking about Tom Brady, and I said, imagine a jockey, imagine a quarterback between every quarter had to go over and there's a new coach telling him new things, and he's got some family members he wants him to meet or take a selfie with, which is what you jockeys have to deal with on a daily basis. You're probably not riding 6 to 8 races like back in the days, but you're riding enough, and these guys that are still riding that, every time they got a new coach just about for every race. So how much information can a trainer really give you in that short period of time in the paddock before they call riders up and you get in the saddle?
Well, I mean, at this stage of my career, they've hired me because they know I'm going to do my homework. I already know probably the strategy going in. What's good about talking to a trainer is the little things that they do. They might have a bad habit, maybe lugging in, getting out. If they hit the front too soon, they might really wait on other horses. Stuff like that helps out. But once there's not too many of, especially it seems like to me for the trainers that I ride for anyway. I mean, like Bob, he not one time ever told me what to do with Justify. He hired me for a reason, and he pretty much knew I was going to do what needed to be done, and if that didn't work, well, we go to plan B or C, whatever it took. But yeah, I think like I said, most of the time now, when they tell you something, it's just about the bad habits that they might have, or the good habits that they have. This horse really runs the turn well, or does this, and stuff like that always helps if you've never been on them before.
Bob Baffert before the Belmont. What was the situation like in the paddock? You and Baffert before the Belmont, and you've got the Triple Crown on the line, and trying to stay unbeaten and all eyes are on you. I mean, anything that you remember from that moment that was said just before he gave you the leg up?
Well, not only is he an unbelievable trainer, he's just an incredible trainer. He's a great coach too, man. He doesn't add any extra pressure to you. And fortunate for me, he had been through this, before more than once, where he was going for it. And man, he just stayed happy-go-lucky. He said, "We're just blessed to be here right now. Let's just enjoy this." He kept it light. We knew what we had to do, and we're so fortunate that we got out of the gate very well, and everything went well, and I couldn't ask for a better trip that day. But he helps you stay cool and calm.
Was there ever a moment when you're going out of the paddock and you come through the tunnel and there you emerge and there's 90,000 people cheering? Was there ever a moment where you said, "Wow, I'm about 2.5 minutes or so away from winning the Triple Crown"?
I'd tell you, I will tell you where there was a moment. We left the gate so well, and we're going around that first turn, and I wish the camera could have zoomed in on me because I had a smile from ear to ear. I had to keep telling myself, "Hey, stay focused, man. You got a job to do." So I had to really get after myself a little bit. That's how excited I was about the whole thing.
Yeah, I really, what I love about you and have for years, and the same with Baffert and several in this game, is how much you enjoy it. And I can't say that for everyone. There's a lot of guys, I mean, it's a job, and like all of us have jobs, and you kind of think it's a job. But I think you're one of the guys that's always enjoyed it as much as anyone I've been around.
I'd have to agree with you, Ken. I truly do, man. I'm having more fun right now riding horses than I did when I was in my 30s. I have a passion for horses that's crazy, and it just seems to keep getting stronger and stronger as I get older. And I hope it continues that way. I guess when that stops, well, it'll be time to hang it up. But right now, I can't wait to get on my next horse.
You got a Derby horse yet?
I'm working hard on it right now. We got a colt that was second in the Beverly D. Lewis. The Bob Lewis the other day, a horse called Gunmetal Gray that I've been riding for Jerry Hollendorfer. So we'll see how he goes. He's going to have to step it up his next race, and we'll see how he does. And then just put some feelers out there for as many of them as I can and see what happens.
Do you need references or anything? I mean, I know you got a pretty good resume.
Well, we've been blessed to of course, coming off the Triple Crown year certainly helps. In situations like that, if someone's needing a rider. But yeah, if you see anything live, let me know. I'll point me in the right direction. I'm all for it.
You're too good a friend. You know what was amazing? I was looking at Daily Racing Form before I voted on the Eclipse Awards, and this is in early December. Wins by grade one wins. That's the best for those that are casual fans that are kind of enjoying the fun part of this show. That's the best you can get, grade 1 wins. And you led everybody in the nation in grade 1 wins, even though you're not riding nearly at the clip of the volume of rides that you used to have. That's why they call you Big Money Mike. You step up and you win the big races.
Well, thank you, Ken. I appreciate it. That's what we try to do, and that's kind of by plan. My agent Brad Pegram just does a tremendous job of really looking for those kind of horses in those types of races, and has done a tremendous job of keeping me on those kinds. So I got to give him a whole lot of the credit.
How nervous were you in 2005 when Jerry Moss sticks a winning ticket in your boot and you're on this horse named Giacomo that's 50-1? You're not even supposed to be there, and you win the Kentucky Derby. That was a moment.
What's funny, it's although he was 50-1, I thought the way the race looked like it was going to set up for us, I thought he had a heck of a chance to run huge, and if things really worked out right, we could win this thing. So, although we were 50-1, I went in thinking we had a heck of a chance, and lo and behold, we pulled it off, and I'd forgotten about that ticket till we were in the press. We were in the press conference afterwards, and I remembered about it. I reached down in there, and it was all wet and soggy and everything. I pulled it out. It was a $200 win ticket, which paid $10,000. So I got an extra $10,000 for the whole deal. That was
not wet enough that you couldn't cash it.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, no, I got a cash, and the whole day was just, it was Mr. Moss's birthday. We win the Kentucky Derby. I got a ticket in my boot. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better afternoon. I'll tell you that. No,
that was a fun day, perfect day, just like it was watching you win all through the Triple Crown on Justify, and you're relatively a newlywed right now. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, got married on the 13th. Just really enjoying it right now. We haven't gotten a chance to take a honeymoon yet, but we're hoping we get to do that pretty soon. Maybe just before Del Mar kicks up, or right after Del Mar. We'll probably go to St. Lucia. One of the partners in Justify with China Horse Club is the Prime Minister there in St. Lucia. And after the Triple Crown, he'd mentioned something about the honeymoon in St. Lucia, and I thought that sounded pretty darn good.
It's good to know people. It's good to know people, Mike.
It certainly is. So I gotta reach out to him before the Triple Crown stuff wears off. Of course, Triple Crown stuff never wears off, so I guess I'll have time to see if I can get that done.
Oh, man, listen, it's great to talk to you, and always a pleasure, and we'll catch up again maybe a little closer to get ready for the Derby.
Sounds wonderful, Ken. Thanks for having me on, man. Anytime, just give me a call.
Always a pleasure, Mike Smith. Thank you very much. The Hall of Famer, he's as good as it gets. And remember, you're watching the Horse Racing Channel on YouTube. You can follow us on iTunes, Google Play, Facebook, or Twitter at Horse Racing Show. Yeah, that's pretty easy because it's a horse racing show. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.